Okay, fuckheads. Today I'm with my very, very good friend Kurt, all the way from sunny Manchester. Kurt has pretty much changed his fucking life over the last 18 months. Something that we're really, really proud of. Something that I had a tiny piece in, where most has all been him and everything else that he lives by. The reason that I truly respect Kurt is because he doesn't just say what he wants to do. He also lives by the code. He takes care of himself mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, and everything else in between. So Kurt is people that you want in your life, and he's also someone that you want fighting your corner. So what we're going to do for the next 30 40 minutes is we're going to have a bit of an interview. We're going to have a little bit of a chit chat, some sort of kind of like podcast feel. We've never actually done this before, so Kurt is the first and he may be the last to rock and roll with this. So without further ado, I'm going to let Kurt give you all a bit of an understanding of who he is, where he's from, and how he ended up in fucking my place here in Ascot.
If you keep turning up, if you keep doing the work, if you keep showing in, if you keep doing what you need to do, if you hold the standard, you hold yourself accountable, something will happen. I want to go down in history. When I say that, I didn't even flinch. I learned how to drive Freddie Flintstone. Someone opened up the door, brand new red Ferrari. Step in, kid. Gone.
Hello, young man. I think you're going way too far. Huh?
I'm not the right place, am I?
No. Oh, you're getting slim by.
I know I am. I've lost
What?
loads of weight.
Have you?
Yeah.
You are too, yeah.
What?
So you came back, when did you come back? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you come back for a while now, or what's the story?
Quite hidden
I've the bet. That's the whole thing. It's like you're here, but you're not here. If that makes
Yeah.
sense, So when I come now, I will sit down here and I will just look out. So for 2 weeks straight, the farmer was cutting this field, which was a running joke I had with the team. How long it would take him to cut this field, but he was just coming on this like old 1960s broken up tractor. And he was just cutting it in sections. It took him about 2 weeks. I'd say he was just trying to get away from the wife. He's just pissing it out. He used to do it. He broke it up into about 8 sections. This is his as well. All these are his.
Davo.
Yeah. All his. This is for my brothers. We didn't have much, but we had us. All these are his.
I'm guessing that one's customized that you've actually got in your office.
That one's custom.
Is
that
it
one's
the
a custom,
dental one?
and then the one in the office is a custom. These are all prints. These are all prints. Manchester people are very much like Irish people. We don't take
No for an answer.
we don't take no for an answer for sure, but we always get insecure when people give us compliments.
Sure,
Yeah,
definitely.
we always get a bit weird about it. I don't know why. It's an ingrained insecurity of like, I always tell people I've never felt good enough and I don't believe I'm good enough. So we're always trying to improve. We're always trying to get better. And I say that with how you look. You're always trying to, move the inches forward. Why do you think that is?
Which part?
The insecurity of like, how you probably grew up, how I grew up, that kind of, because a lot of Manchester is Irish heritage, Liverpool the exact same. So is that ingrained as a kid or what is it?
It's a good point because it's like I hold myself to a standard, but when people compliment me, it's like in my brain, it's like I still envision myself as like an average level. So it's like when people give me a compliment, it's like, fuck, no, like I'm actually way above, like I should be way above, like I don't deserve that compliment.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though I do have the consistency, the discipline of actually doing what needs to be done to make sure that I actually hold that standard, like that compliment, it still makes me feel so much further behind. And I think it is like an insecurity that you just can't get rid of.
When I jump on podcasts and people like this and people give the whole fucking spiel for 60 seconds, I actually get embarrassed. I'm like, Bill Welch is this and he has done that and X, Y, and Z. And I actually get really embarrassed. I'm like, fuck, that's actually really, embarrassing.
Do you think it's because do you compare yourself to, let's say, somebody that's like a multi-billionaire, for example? So
Yeah, constantly. People always say comparison is the joy of, or is the thief of joy. And that is completely true. But if you don't compare, you'll never be hungry enough to keep going. So I actually want to keep comparing myself. I compare myself with, great friends of mine like Cortese and, Jeremy. They have such a fucking great environment. They have such a great, company. They're doing, I think it's 3 or 4 million a month. So I look at that as if to say, like, we're so far behind. We're so far behind in terms of like the growth that we can have. But I'm fucking truly inspired by what they do, because now I know how much can the company grow and how much we can move into. Because if in my head it's like, if the top business in my industry was making 300, 400 grand a month, 500 grand a month, I'm like, there's no more room to grow. So like, because we're already in that pocket, so it's like, now I see what can be achieved. I'm like, I'm so far behind. I'm so fucking insecure being so far behind that I want to get up every day and fucking slit throats. You know, that's how I feel.
That comparison is so important as well, because it's like, you should, people say you should never compare yourself to anybody else. But when I walk into a gym, when I walk into any sort of industry where I need to make money,
Yeah.
I'll always compare myself to the top person. Because if I walk into a gym and I see somebody that's absolutely peeled, or somebody in sales that's making X amount a month,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's where the fuck I should be.
Yeah. It has to be.
Like, there's competition in the room now, and I have to go out there and make sure that I hold the standard of that competition. That's everything that I do in life.
Yeah. And you know the funny thing about people that want to compete, I actually respect and I value people that want to compete as well. Why? Because now you have somebody to compete with. You know, we live in a society where nobody wants to compete, and you know, everyone is given an A place fucking trophy for just turning up. You know, and I look at all of those people as if to say, you know, well, I'm working hard, but why aren't I making money? Well, you're not making money because you're fucking shit at what you do. You know, you can be a hard worker all you like, but if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, it makes no odds. You see it in the gym. How many people do you know go to the gym every day, as well as you do, and they're still fat and ugly?
You see it all the time.
Yeah, doing the tum wars, as I call them, the tum wars on the leg extension. You're like, hey, Bob, you get off that leg extension, you're there 45 minutes. You know, let me ask you this. So you've been in sales 18 months, give or take, or is it a bit longer? You've been with us 12 months.
Yeah.
When did you join sales?
When I bought my first program was like January, December, 2022 December, maybe
Okay.
2023 January.
So 2.5 years then, basically, give
Is
or
it
take.
really that?
Yeah, so 2022
God,
we're in
the time
2024.
flies
Yeah,
when
so
you.
give her 2.5 years. What was last month? I know you mentioned to us earlier on, last month was a record month for you. Are you comfortable enough saying that on camera?
What was the number?
Yeah.
So it was around 31k. No, I'm
Shit.
not happy with the number. If that
Shit.
was the question.
Fuck. You're not happy.
No, not at all. Like, it's like you mentioned to me, I remember being on a call and I was like, I'm stuck in between not getting to 30. I don't know what it is. Every single time I just can't surpass it.
Yeah.
And you actually asked me, what's the difference other than other than your ego getting to 30k? And when I actually hit it, I was like, fuck, he's actually right. Like, it made no difference. The only difference it's actually going to make is how the fuck do I actually get to 100 grand?
Yeah.
And then go from there, because just making a 10 grand difference, it doesn't matter. Makes no difference.
I want everyone to understand that it's not about the outcome. It's the input to achieve the outcome, which is what Kurt is talking about. It's about the standard that you have to hold, and it's the line that you have to fucking walk on every day in order to keep growing and keep building. See, people chase money all the time, and that's why they don't have money. Instead of chasing excellence and standards, they chase the paper, and the paper was all run away from. That's the problem. So 31,000, which is fucking crazy money as well. Just let's take a stab at that too. Let's note that. And that's, you know, straight with no business, no overheads, no team, no fucking anything. That's just cash collected, which
What's
is awesome.
important about that is the offer that I'm on, we don't offer payment plans, we don't have any financing, so it has to be a paid in full.
Right.
Now, in the sales space, you understand how difficult that actually is.
Yeah.
So my total revenue was like 560k because I had a good ton of down payments.
Sure.
So imagine if we had financing, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what the number could have actually been.
Fuck. Wow. Okay, so there you go. There's another caveat for that. When you joined sales, because this is really important, because we get a lot of people that come to us all the time and they want to escape the 9 to 5. You said something to me earlier on. We were walking around the grounds here. You said to me you had PTSD driving down here because you were in the car for over 3 hours. And you said to me it brought you back to being an engineer, being in the car for 5 or 6 hours a day. Talk to me about what you made back then. Talk to me about the hours you worked, and talk to me about why you wanted to pursue sales.
The hours I worked back then, so I was doing like 14-hour shifts, probably making around 2,600 a month,
Sure.
doing 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
What was the other question? Oh yeah, what I was making,
Why?
I was working 26, I was making around 2,700 a month, doing 70 hours plus probably every single week. why I got into sales is mainly because of my mum. Like it was because I wanted to be able to provide better for her. I know that she wanted more. I know that she deserved more. So it was kind of my responsibility to step up and actually make sure that that actually happened.
Yeah.
Which, when you have that sort of belief system in yourself and you actually apply that, when you take that to sales, it becomes so much fucking easier, pardon my language, to justify that with
Don't worry about the
objections.
language. We call people lesbians and
Yeah,
cunts
there
here
you
all
go.
the time, so your language is actually a little bit better for us.
But do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that, taking that responsibility on, that can transfer your belief into the objection side of it.
Correct.
Because if you go to your wife or whatever, if you justify an objection in your own life,
Yeah.
what's going to happen when you get on a call is you're going to allow the prospect to,
You do the exact same thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to allow that to happen. Whereas I don't allow that to happen in any capacity in my life. I don't think about anything. I don't go to anybody for their decision. I don't have to refer to anyone to make a decision. I'm in control of everything that I do. So
Hold that space. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Let me bring you all the way back, because that's really important, because I want to bring this full circle in a second. So a large portion of what you just said there is you want to help your mum and you want to provide and you want to give back a better life. Bring me back to your childhood. Good, bad, up, down, in, out. What was it?
my childhood was honestly perfectly fine. Like I don't see, as far as I can remember, there was no issues with it.
Yeah.
But it was obviously when they separated. Like my mum was always struggling. She was trying to make things happen. She was always trying to support me. So just having her help me through all of that, like it put me in a position where it's like I need to give back to her now. Like I'm old enough now that I can make that happen. It's up to me to make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's why I did that.
The reason I asked that is because that frame that you just mentioned about giving back is driven from childhood, because I grew up the exact same. My mum and dad split when I was 6 years of age, and a large amount of my life I've lived angry, and disappointed and frustrated and kind of, in a space of why, you know what I mean? So now we're in a position where like I can help my family, you know, for generations hopefully to come. I got my brother working with us. He made over 20 grand last month. I mean, he's only 4 months in sales. You know what I mean? So to be able to give, your family that opportunity, and, to be able to help your mum and dad, holidays here, and, hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to buy out the mortgage. I have a very proud Irish mum, so it took me 3 years of bothering her up to be able to get her to that situation. So,
How does that feel?
um, well, we haven't completed yet, but hopefully when it's all done and dusted, she'll be happier. My mom has worked hard her entire life. She's sacrificed so much for her kids. I'm one of two. My mother built a great business, ran a great home, kept three young boys on the straight and narrow when it could have went dicey either way. When you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 17, 18, once the kind of negative parts of life come into your life, whether that's girls, drink, and the drugs or whatever, comes into your life. It's like, to be able to keep that going and to keep that moving forward, I'm forever grateful. You know what I mean? So I'm in a position now in life where I want to make sure that all my people are taken care of. And now I have the resources and I have the business and I have the kind of like the lack of fear to be able to do it now, and that's important. So who's at home? Who's in the family? You have your mum, you have a sister, no?
Yeah, I have a sister.
Yeah.
In contact with my dad.
Yeah.
But it's just basically like the four of us. He got remarried. My mum never did.
Right.
So it's just kind of been like me and her, just figuring stuff out.
And your sister, how old is your sister?
Around 24.
So she's above 20 and she's not 30. So
Yeah.
she's in around that kind of ballpark.
Yeah, she's got a younger child.
Very good.
She's got a baby boy that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Good. How old is he?
Just turned 1.
All right, shit.
Just a little
So
bit
he's
over 1.
so it's new. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got people that rely on you. You got people that you can help. You got people that you can, bring forward, which is really important. Because I say this to you all the time, all you guys. It's like there's got to be more than just money on the line. There's
I
got to
always
be
say
more than
that.
just money. And it takes you making great money to then realize that. You know what I mean? It takes making money to put yourself in a position where it's like, I want to make more so I can give more. And that's the key for me. Like that's where we are with the business. I want to grow the business so big that everyone's goals are accomplished within the big goal, you know?
Do you want to know a really funny story about a kind of decision that I made when I initially got into sales? So I always knew that my mum disliked her kitchen to like a massive amount.
Yeah.
And I went out of my own way to kind of get a loan for like a home improvement loan.
Yeah.
Around about that time is when I first got into like the online money making space, and I actually found like Luke's course.
Yeah.
And I was in a pretty heavy situation financially, so I went out of my way to get that loan. It was like a £6,000 loan or whatever. Now I had to make a decision on with that loan, do I give it to my mum so she can actually have a kitchen, or do I invest in myself so I can get myself out of this situation?
Yeah.
Obviously, what I did is pretty obvious today, but even just like the Christmas just gone, like I was able to actually give her a kitchen and give her more than the £6,000.
Yeah, I remember that. I presume your mum, just listen to how you speak about your mum and your family, was somewhat taken back by that. Didn't expect it.
You know what mums are like, though.
Yeah, I do. Mine is very the same thing. If I went down and bought my mother something first, her initial response is anger. You know, that's just how she's just grown. It's just how she's, you know. I always joke with my brothers. It was like, you know, we'd be out the back playing hurling, or we would be out the back piss arsing about, and someone would fall off the wall or whatever and cut their knee, and my mother would say, "What the fuck are you doing falling off the wall?" You're like, "What the fuck? Hold on a second. I don't think I wanted to fall off the wall." Do you know what I mean? So that would be it. I remember when we told her about my little girl India. You know, it's like, fucking hell, what are you doing getting pregnant? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? and then it's the love, and then it's the care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On top of it, talk me through that day when your mother had she got the new kitchen? Has it been
So
done?
I was iffy on which way to do it, to just go out there and do it for her, send her on
Yeah,
holiday, and then just bring her back. But then if she hated it, then
yeah, you're
obviously,
fucked.
yeah, then I'm fucked.
Yeah,
So I just made the decision to just kind of give her like a large paycheck so that she
yeah,
could
yeah,
just kind of check in.
yeah,
I ended up staying around Christmas morning, sleeping on the couch so that she could wake up to it.
yeah,
And when she opened it, she was like, "What the fuck's this?"
yeah. Exactly. That's what
I'm
I'm
like,
saying. So
"Great."
just
I
pure
was
answer.
I was trying to video it, and she's like, "What the fuck's this?" I was like, "Oh, that was good."
I learned very, very quickly over the last couple of years, don't video anything of the first response, because the first response is not the actual lasting response, especially with mothers and especially with mothers that we have. So after the first initial response, was she happy? Was she sad? Was
Well,
she?
she's happy now because it's all getting done.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it in the
getting
middle
done.
of getting done?
Yeah, it's getting done now.
Yeah. And then when it's all done, you gotta ask her how she feels now, because that's what it is. Yeah. Shit. Talk to me. So you joined the Objection Box 12 months ago. Why did you make that decision? Because I know you keep investing in yourself all the time. What was it that kind of drove you on to do that?
A very particular voice note. I never saw your face.
Oh shit.
I never knew who you were,
Mm.
but somebody inside another program actually sent me a voice note of you just overcoming somebody's objection.
All right.
And the way you spoke, and obviously the how direct you were, I was like, I know that's me,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to transfer it onto my calls. Whoever this motherfucker is, this handsome Irish bastard, I need to find where he is, how I pay him, and how do I learn from him.
Shit.
And then the minute so before I joined you, I actually joined another program literally 2 weeks before. So that kind of put me in a position where I was like, fuck, like how I can't just go back and invest into another program. But then I was like, why not though? Like if it's going to make me more money and this is the guy that I need to be compared to the program I just bought, then it only makes sense to kind of go with it.
Shit.
Then I was like,
Most people would never do that.
no, I know.
Most people would be like, I've invested in this program that I know it's not gonna help me, and I know that there's a better program out there, but I've already invested and I'm too scared to have that conversation with somebody. So I'm just gonna ride this out, and then I'm gonna lose 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 grand, and then I'm gonna go do the program that I want to actually do. So weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's something that I always wanted all you guys to have, is just the confidence and the ability to go out there and have difficult conversations, because that's what sales is. You know what I mean? I actually enjoy when things get dicey. I actually click my
Oh,
hands.
you do.
I actually, roll back and I get more comfortable. You know, because that's what it is. That's what I get paid to do. I get paid to have very, very difficult conversations with people, and I get paid a handsome amount every month to fucking move people internally. You know, and that's what I want you all of you guys to have, because that's what's the difference between a good salesperson and a fucking elite salesperson. I didn't just call elite because this was just a catchy phrase. I remember back when I was doing fitness, I had a program called Elite as well. So I've always kind of lent towards that frame and that kind of ideology, and I want all of you guys to have that too.
What are your thoughts on people that say the idea behind objection handling is just pressure, it's unnecessary, and you shouldn't be doing it?
It should be pressurized. It's the whole fucking purpose of it. It's like, you know, if there's no pressure, then there's no shift.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be pressured, you know. You're supposed to make people uncomfortable. You're supposed to get people out of their comfort zone. You're supposed to challenge them. You're supposed to, you know, do something that they internally know they need to do that they're scared to do. So they should be pressure. I actually want more pressure. Yeah, I want as many tears and as much pressure on the line as I can possibly get. And it's not a case of it's anger and it's out of frustration. It is just simply based in a space of I want to do what's needed for this person.
Do you know where I think it comes from as well? It's like you know what needs to be done. So if this person is telling that they want X,
Yeah.
you know what it takes to actually be that person.
Yeah.
So if you don't hold them to that standard and you don't actually apply the pressure,
Yeah.
then all that's going to happen is because the lack of pressure in the last X amount of years is the reason why they're here today and they're not where they want to be.
Yeah, and they're on the call because they want pressure. They're not on the call because they're fucking fit, healthy, happy, and fucking, you know, shredded, and they're, you know, making tons of money. They're on the call pretty much 90% of the times because they're fucking, you know, not in a good space in life. You know, they're not in a good space in life because they don't have the ability to make hard decisions. That's fundamentally it. You got into sales 12 months or 18 months ago, 24 months ago, whatever it may be, and you joined the objection box 12 months ago. One thing I said to you, this is hard work, but it's not forever. It is like a period of time that you're going to have to learn this shit, you're going to have to educate this shit, you're going to have to apply this shit, and then you just know the shit. You know, whereas most people don't want to get into that position because they just, I think, I think we live in a society as well where most people think that it's easy because, you know, I remember on Instagram when there was like 15-second reels. Remember those? Where it was just like you're trying to cram in a hero's journey in 15 seconds. So what people now think is that translates into Rocky fucking Balboa, you know, where it's like an 8-minute monologue. Now it's 15 seconds. So it's worse, you know, whereas if you just stay the course, you do the work and you keep moving the needle every day, you will eventually get to where you want to go. You know, 18 months ago, 24 months ago, I can guarantee you, if you ever looked at yourself now, where you are today, making $30,000 a month, you would have been like, oh my good holy God. You know, that would have been a year's salary in a month and a half without killing yourself, traveling around the fucking UK, eating fucking monster energy drinks. You know what I mean? By the fucking bucket. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we look back and we say to ourselves, like, the journey that we're on is really important, but without the hard work and dedication. So that's why I knew when you came in, you would be where you are today. Do you know why?
I think you said to me at the start as well.
I know it because I call the shot all the time. I call it. I know who's who and I know what's what. And the reason I knew you would be here today in this position, still angry, still unsatisfied, and still hungry for more, is because it's who you are. I saw it the minute I saw you. I saw it the minute I saw how you take care of your body. I saw how you walked, how you talked, how you acted, how you behaved, your personality. I saw it day dot because I see myself in you. I see there's mavericks and then there's good salespeople, and you were leaning into that position. All I had to do was just massage it in. That's all. All I had to do was just give you, you know, the right pat, and I just left you do your thing. I don't think I saw you on more than 20 calls.
I think I attended one role play because I thought it was just like it was necessary, but then the idea behind it is you just learn like the framework, the idea behind the reason for the frameworks,
Yeah.
the reason behind specific word tracks and stuff like that. It's like I mentioned before, like I didn't need a full framework of how to do a wife objection. I needed one specific thing, which was just the idea behind the responsibility clause. That was all I fucking needed. And I think some people spend so much time and just go around in circles in the fact they're trying to learn the perfect word track.
Yeah.
But if you just actually be a direct human and you have an honest conversation, all you need is one specific thing, you can overcome it.
Correct.
But it's not just that, it's you You can't justify objections in your own life.
No.
You can't do that.
No. Well, that's what I said. It's like I saw you and I was like, this kid doesn't, he holds the line and he won't accept bullshit. So I could just take what you've done in your life and I just translate it into sales. Because that's what I did. I just took everything that I've done in life, military, sports, businesses, physiques, whatever it may be. Because there's always knockbacks. There's always someone that's better than you. There's always someone that you're chasing. So the ability to keep going, the ability to keep moving the needle is what's needed in sales. And I just saw that was in you. And as I said, I don't think you were on more than 20 calls. I don't think you were. And even if you were like there for 8 minutes. You're like, I think I got what I needed out of this call, and then it's gone. It's like that's what it's like. Yeah, that was brilliant for me because like I just saw that I didn't need to baby you and I didn't need to, smother you in love. I just needed to give you what you needed and then leave you do your thing.
Yeah. The unstuck calls were the best part. Like, genuinely, they're the biggest needle mover because it was like, you give me one specific thing and then it never happened again.
Yeah. Why do you think people can, like, why do you think you can do that and other people can't do it? What do you
Because they
think
get
is
caught just lost in the smaller things instead of just taking away what's actually needed and just applying it. I think they just get caught up in the smaller things that aren't necessary. Like the word tracks, how do you say it, stuff like that. Like, it's not just be an actual human. Take what Bill gives you and just actually apply it.
Yeah.
But continuously apply it. Do you know what I mean? Don't just try it once and say, oh, it didn't work, Bill. Continue to try it because you could have a one-off, but it's just staying with that consistency.
And that comes back to like, again, it comes back to you when I saw how you looked. I was like, this kid can take everything and just keep doing it over and over and over again until he gets to where he wants to go. And that's like, you don't build a physique that you have because you went to the gym 3 times a week.
No.
This is like years upon years upon years upon years of graft and fucking dieting and, moving the inches and, you're doing a PB, 100 kilos on the bench and then it's going up to 100.25 and then you're up and then it's incremental betterment. That's what it is. And that's what sales is. But the beauty of what sales can give you, you can go from pretty much 0 to 20K if you have the right opportunity, the right skill sets, the right work rate, and the right resilience. You can fucking pretty much go and do it in 3 months.
Do you know what's really important as well is sales is like a massive confidence game. If you don't have that, then you're pretty much fucked anyway.
Yeah.
Because look at it this way, like the offer that I'm currently on, I made a big jump from an offer that I was pretty much top closer on, and it was a good level of income.
Yeah.
But I wanted to push myself more because I was kind of stuck at a level. So I found an offer that was basically between 2 closers. Like, they'd done 50 grand cash collected in a month between 2 closers.
Sure.
I jumped on that offer just because the offer itself was pretty good and the lead flow was massive. I jumped on with the business owner. I showed him a chart and I said, where do you want to go? Why aren't you there? And I said, you put me on calls and I'll actually get you there. And then in the first month, I did like 260 cash collected, 250 cash collected in the first month.
So you just
and I was
5x
just like,
the
there
other
you
two
go.
people.
No other closer would have jumped on the offer, guaranteed. No, because why would you jump on the offer 50K cash collected between 2 closers?
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. It just won't get you to where you want to go. What were you selling?
So it's like ecom.
Ecom.
Yeah. It's just your basic biz up.
Shit. And what you can do now is you go back to the boss, the owner, and you say, hey, buddy, this is where you were. This is where I got you. Now let's talk business. Let's sit down and let's figure out these numbers. Let's sit down and let's figure out the numbers that make sense for me, not just you. Because you can go back to doing this if that's what you want to do, and I'll just keep the train moving forward myself. And I will go to this place, that place, that place, because whether you realize it or not, obviously you don't say this one, but what you in your head is you're saying, I just put another notch on the belt. I just put another, CV application together that I've done A, B, and C, D, E, and F, and G. Once you get to that level, it's like now you go write your own checks. There's three levels to all of the game. The first one is all about your results. The second one is all about, your reputation. And the third one is about your relationships. You're in a relationship game now. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do, because that's where I should be.
Yeah. Now, it's the first thing. So for all of you fucking retards out there, the first thing is your results. So what you have to focus on and solely focus on for at least 3 to 6 months is your results, which means that you got to go out and prove that you are what you say you are and make the money. And then you start to talk about that. You start to build your name around that. You start to build everything else in between it. The second level is your relationships, or it's your reputation, sorry. The second part about this is your reputations, which is now the people on the offer start talking about you. Your friends start talking about you. You start getting connected with different people. You start to, shake hands and kiss babies, as I always tell people, with different people. And you start to build your name in an industry that can produce for the rest of your life. And then the third level, I always say it's anywhere from 12 to 24 months once you have the right first two done. It's your relationship. So that's when you shake hands with business owners and you go into partnerships, you take equity, you build off, profit shares, you start to manage teams, you start to, build income outside of you just taking calls. That's the space that you're in now. It's about how do I get out there? How do I build and grow into those positions where people know that they want to give me, position in the company. They want to give me, titles of C-suite. They want to give me equity in terms of payment structures. They want to, give me an override of managing the team and coaching the team and training the team. That's where you need to be. There's one thing that you need to continue to do though, and that's keep pushing your name and keep pushing your results. It's the biggest fault that I see with you.
I know.
It's the biggest issue because if you don't do it, no one's going to do it. You're in the space now where enough people know about you that like you gotta now, put some fuel into it. You're not going to put ads into it. You're not going to spend money to do it. I have to spend money to do it now because like we've hit the ceiling of organic. We just can't do any more than organic what we've done. And I tried it for 18 months. It just doesn't work. So now
Yeah.
I got to put fuel into it, which is hard earned cash. I got to reinvest. Very fucking fortunate enough that I can do that. So that's good. But that's where we're at. There's only so much reciprocity the market would give you without new people seeing your name. That's where you're at.
Even for you, I think that's important because there's people out there that don't know who you are that actually need to know. Like when you go on, let's say outside of Facebook, because you're massive on Facebook, like Facebook is your main.
Yeah, Face is my main.
Yeah,
My
so when
main
you go on Twitter
platform.
and stuff, like there's a lot of people that are lacking in the space, and it's just like this is bare minimum. And if they found you, like they would obviously,
Yeah.
it would help them. So there's people out there that they actually need.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I was about to have a conversation with Ollie. It's about what's the next level in terms of social growth. It's about like I want to grow it all. I never will not tell the truth. I want to grow as big as what Jeremy's done. You know what I mean? I look at that and I said to myself, fuck, that is phenomenal. That is fantastic. That is brilliant. Marco and Jeremy and all of the boys over there are 7-Eleven. I have lots of respect for them. That's where I want to go with it. And in order to get there, everything has to grow, everything has to
Sure.
build, everything has to, expand. That's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, fucking Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, emails, cold calling, DMs. We have to go 10 vehicles and go wide. That's what we have got to go with. Like I for the first 18 months of business, I wanted to produce a result that it's undeniable. And it's like once people hear my name and hear the business's name, they just know. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we've achieved now. Now it's a case of now expansion. That's where we're at with things.
Your YouTube is like really, really good as well because when I first found you, it was the first place I kind of went to,
Sure.
and I indulged in so much YouTube. Like I was just constantly replaying the same videos over and over,
Sure.
to the point where I was completely warmed up to the point like I literally need this guy.
Yeah. We only really focused on YouTube over the last kind of 3 months. I would say it was the last 8 months. That's a big focus for me is to kind of produce great content there to give it there because I've no doubt in my mind once it pops it's going to pop, and I want to make sure that there's enough good stuff out there when people get exposure to it, they know where they're going, and they also know that it is what it is. That's what I want.
Even back then though, it's not like the content was outstanding. It was just as basic as you posting a coaching session.
Yeah.
But the fact and the matter was like it was the value was actually there. There was so much fucking value just in a
Yeah.
basic YouTube video that actually got me over the line.
Sure. Well, there we go. So that's what I'm saying. That's what it is. It's like we want to give so much away that people just come and then they just know, and that's what it is. Like I tell my guys all the time, they don't take sales calls. They just don't take sales calls. Like it's, someone comes and say, look, I have 4K, I don't have 6. What can we do? It's what it is. Like that's just the logistics of it.
Yeah.
So we don't have sales calls where we're beating people up and we're the guys are completely exhausted because they're giving so much positive energy away like I used to. And that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's a good thing because there's so much goodwill out there. It's a bad thing that we don't have more colder audiences to hit. That's where I'm at now. It's like I woke up this morning, I was like, fuck. frustrated. I was like, I got to go to the gym, buddy. I got to knock something out of here, but I'm going to have a WANK or I'm going to have to go to the gym or what the fuck is going on? I got to fucking get rid of some of this testosterone. And that's what it was. It was just pure frustration of, I know where we're going. And then the frustration is it's like, it's not going fast enough. That's the hard part of
You're
life.
as bad
It's
as
like,
me.
oh,
I'm
it's
so
terrible.
fucking impatient.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I've been patient my entire life because that's what you have to do. But once you have a tiny ounce and then a dribble of some element of positivity in your life, you want more. It's an addictive reality of the space that we're in. It's like I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything that's negative. I want to build a business. I want to go down in history. I want legendary status, and that means to me it's longevity, but it's also being patient and being impatient. And it's like days where I'm at today where it's like, I have to fucking go to the gym or, go for a long run and try and, take the fucking the edge off. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at with things. But
The only thing that will actually keep you going though, because if you don't have that edge, like you'll just
yeah, I said this to my brother the other day. I was like, because I've a finance guy that we work with. He's a wealth manager, and from the conversation I've had with him, um, we're pretty much solid. I don't have to work anymore.
yeah.
And even saying that makes me feel a bit weird, and it's not saying it to boast or brag or ego or anything like that. With what he can spit back every year in terms of like improvements of percentages, I don't have to work anymore.
And what is that time frame that you actually,
Well, we started the business in 2022.
let's say, when did you start sales, like legitly?
Sales 2021,
Shit.
21, 22, 4 years, 3 years.
Is that not just a wake up call for a lot of people, like how fast you can actually make it happen?
It is, but you're not going to make it happen just on or just being in sales.
No, you're not.
Yeah, you gotta be a business owner. You gotta, I made $1 million in 4 months.
Hmm.
In the first 4 months of business, it's unheard of. I don't know any other company that literally starts and in 4 months you have $1 million in the bank. I don't know any company that has ever done that. So I'm very fortunate. I'm very appreciative and I'm very, humble about that. But that's facts. That's literally facts because I got a fucking stupid Poxy ClickFunnels award to basically say that. So
He's still bitter about the
I
other
am
one.
bitter because I should have 5 more of them. But anyway, fuck them. I'll wait for the big one to come out, the 10 million one. But anyway, it can work really, really fast. But I've been, learning about business since I was 15, 14. Like when I was 14, 15, I didn't do any tests in school. So I didn't do any Christmas exams. I never did any summer exams until I did my leaving cert. Because my mother just was like, this kid don't want to be here. You know what I mean? He's like wasting his time. He's like, what are we? Because I was just in a position where I just wanted to make money. I've always just wanted to make money. And that insecurity came from seeing my mother struggle. My mother had a great business. And then 2008 came in, and for 2008 to maybe, you know, it's never been as good as what it was, the business. But I remember, the work, the stress, the anxiety, the worry, the stressful nights that my mother put herself through to try and keep the wheel spinning, borrowing and, leaning on people and, great people helping her out like uncles and aunts or whatever else. I've always wanted to be in a position where I never, ever, ever feel that way. And I wanted to make sure that I can help my people.
The thing is, when you say that as well, when that used to happen to me, it made me feel like it was my fucking fault
Yeah.
that was happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, what am I doing? I'm just sitting
Yeah.
here like a
Yeah.
fucking plump, just getting fat, like a little fat cow that's never going to go to market.
But it makes you feel like it's your fucking fault to the point where it's like, I need to do something here, otherwise I'm just wasting everyone's time.
Yeah. So I've always been on that. So from 15, I've always been in a position where it's like, how do I make money? I've always been a student of the game. So when I was 15, I went and worked instead of going and doing summer exams and going to do my Christmas exams. 15 years of age, making, 700, 800 pound a week from a week's work. I was like, fuck, this is addictive. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I was. But I never did the exams. I never did anything like that. My brother will tell you the point blank truth. I remember I went with a man called Tony Lawrence, was my first kind of step into managing a team and kind of how he took care of his boys and how he, was charismatic when he walked into a room. Everyone took notice of him. So I was educated very early in life. My mother was obviously a business owner as well, so I seen a tremendous amount of hard work and what it takes. So from 15, I've been in that position, and then it didn't really like take off until I walked into sales. But everything I'd done for 15 years,
All transferred
30
into
years,
that.
all that skill set just transferred into something. I was gone. As I said in Dublin, like the
The
doors open, the
Ferrari.
red Ferrari, I was
Yeah.
gone. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with it. It's like everything that you do in your life should be educating you, and you should be taking good positivities out of it. Because if you do, what you're going to have is you're going to have an outcome down the line. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next year, but if you keep moving the inches, you will get there. And that's the key. So
One
I
thing
stepped in
that
at
you
21.
said that was actually really important, and it's in on it was either a coaching session or on stuck call. It was like when you get lost in the day to day sometimes, but the
Yeah,
day to day is not the outcome.
no,
It's just the inputs to eventually the day to day is the inputs to the point where you look at the bigger picture. You maybe even a month or 2 months from now,
yeah,
and then that's where you actually see the outcome,
yeah,
and that's where I get lost in a lot of the sauce. Sometimes just those day to day.
yeah,
One day you have a fucking excellent day,
yeah.
the next day it's absolutely shit, and you're like, what the fuck's going on here?
I stack them. So like I look at it in the days and the weeks, and now I look at it as quarters and years. Unfortunately, as a business, we're forecasting shit and all that kind of stuff. I look at it as quarter marks, because if I go day to day, we're going to be in trouble, buddy. Because like one day we make 50 grand, the next day we make zero, and the next day we're up to 14, the next day we're down to
How
two.
do you control that? Like, what I mean by that is in your headspace.
The mentality, it's hard, buddy. It's hard. Like people think that I just do nothing all day. I'm sitting and thinking, buddy. I'm like, and it's not thinking in a sense of next step. Sometimes it's just thinking in a case of how do I regulate my own emotions.
Mm.
How do I regulate the team's emotions? How do I produce for the team? I got like multiple people I got to pay every month.
Sure.
I think there's 10 people on staff now. You know what I mean? So I got to make sure that there's enough there for everybody. So I look at all that as a personal responsibility. That's why I don't drink heavy. That's why I'm very fortunate that I don't deal in negativities that have a negative impact on my life. I work hard, I train, and that's pretty much it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky. I'll touch wood if we have some. There's wood around. That I don't have any negative vices. You know what I mean? Other than just being a man, unfortunately. Other than just being a man. There's nothing that I do in my life that has a negative impact that actually impacts other people than just myself from time to time. You know what I mean? So I'm very lucky in that sense. But most of the day is just sitting and thinking and moving people around and just trying to get most out of people. That's all it is. And I've had to learn, like the last 2.5 years of building a business, I've had to learn how to speak to people. I've had to learn how to motivate different people. I've had to learn how to, engage in people's different emotions. You know, Ollie, Ollie is different than Jack. You know, how I speak to Ollie and trying to help him produce to get a job done is how I have to be different than Kieran or Princess or
Yeah.
this and that. And I've learned the hard way. You know, I had a person one time that worked for us, and I publicly, in that person's ideology, embarrassed her. I have to take the licks. I have to take the kicks and the licks, as I always tell them, and I have to be responsible enough to say sorry. Like for me, how I grew up is like, if you publicly embarrass me, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure you never have the ability to do it again. Whereas other people like take that as an insult and take that as disrespectful. For me, that was encouragement, that was motivation, that was drive. Like when I was playing sport, people come into the room and say, "Bill, you're letting everybody down in front of 30 people." Best believe I went out in the second half
Hmm.
and I was going to burst my fucking head open to make sure you couldn't say that at the end of the game. So like everyone have different motivators and everyone have different drive and everyone needs different aspects in business. And that's about managing a team. It's about managing the business. It's about managing forecasts. It's my day to day now is so much different than just coaching. It's just unheard of. And I'm trying to learn now, 2 years into being a CEO, a sales manager, marketing manager, fucking, content manager, and, a sales team leader, everything. It's like, it's demanding. It's hard. It's full on 24/7. My phone goes at I turn my phone on at 7 o'clock. There could be 15 messages there, and I could go to 2 o'clock in the morning because the US is that's 8 p.m. over
Yeah.
there. I could keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no stop.
Is it not like a privilege though? Because
Pressure is the privilege. You're absolutely right. It is the privilege. You know, I can't. I'll never complain because it's my choice.
yeah,
Like I said to you, I don't have to do it anymore. I choose to do it because I want to build something that, you know, Jack gets his fulfillment out of it. Nikki gets his fulfillment out of it. Kieran gets his fulfillment in Princess. And all of these people that I know are very fortunate to work with. I want everyone to win. You know, I want everyone to grow. I want James to build his marketing company. I want Ollie to build his videography company. I want everyone to win together. Because at the end of it all, in 20 years' time, everyone will look around and they will say, that was the catalyst. You know, he was the guy that helped all of us together. And that's what drives me now. It's not making more money. It's about impact, and it's about my biggest goal. I always tell people is to stand on the stage with my kids, and for everyone to look around and see thousands of faces, and my girls to know that their daddy helped all these people. That's the goal. That's the drive. That's the passion now.
do you know what's funny? You always say, in a couple of years' time, you'll forget my name anyway.
Yeah,
But when you say that, in the back of my mind, I always think I'd never forget. Obviously, the coaching that you provided for me, what you
yeah,
was able to give me.
yeah. And
Unfortunately,
that's
I'll
the
never
beauty.
forget Bill Walsh.
Yeah, most people will, but only the few will hold on to it for sure. You know, and if there's 100,000 people that know my name down the line, 10,000 people will remember me. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I do for. I do it for those people. I do it because, you know, if you have somebody change their stars, you know, they know. You know, when like when you start to have relationships and kids and X, Y, and Z, and now you're able to get your kid into private school, or you're able to tell your missus, you know, here's a brand new Range Rover, like we saw come in this morning. Don't worry about it, I got it. Do you know what I mean? Those things are really important for me because that means that, you know, we're shifting families, you know, and everything comes back full circle. Everything comes back full circle in a sense of like the biggest breakdown of families that I know of is financial difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a large amount of breakdowns of families are down to financial difficulty. I can't help somebody love somebody harder. I'm not fucking Dr. Phil, unfortunately. I can't help you figure out what's the insecurity in your own mind. I can't, you know, mentally prepare you for the world because it's hard. But what I can do, and what I will do, and what I will continue to do, is I will educate you and skill you in a position where you can make more money. And if I can solve that problem for great people, which means that they don't bring their insecurity into relationships, which means that they're not fighting with their partner because, you know, they're struggling to pay the bills, then I've made an impact. And I've helped other families, you know, have a chance that mine didn't have. Do you know what I mean? I'm very fortunate now that my mother found a partner who I truly, absolutely love, and I call him my dad all the time. And he's been, you know, together with my mum for over 20 years. And without that man, we probably would not be where we are today. Um, and I'm very fortunate. I know there's great families out there that aren't very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned to me earlier on that your mother has never remarried. You know what I mean? So if I was to able, let's say for argument's sake, I was able to help your mum, you know, maybe she walked into sales. You know what I mean? Like a big part of her life is going to be solved, which is the financial situation. Like everything gets more expensive, everything costs more, everything has more. We're always looking over our shoulder if we're on the line. So if I can solve that big problem in people's lives, like that's impact. That's, you know, that's legendary status, and that's what I care, and that's what I want. You know, and that's the vulnerability in me telling everybody. You know, I look at Gary Vee, and he always says, I want to buy the New York Jets. Did you ever hear that story, you know?
No.
So Gary Vaynerchuk, he always says he wants to buy the New York Jets. And he said it on an interview one time why he wants to buy the New York Jets. For years and years and years, people just thought that he just wanted to become a billionaire and he just wanted to flex. And what he actually said was when he was, you know, a very young boy, very young aged boy, his family couldn't afford to buy the jerseys. And every kid on the street had the jersey. And his mother saw that and saw how upset he was. So what she actually did over the course of, you know, a couple of weeks or summers or whatever it may be, she actually knitted a New York Jets jersey. So in his mind, he wants to buy the New York Jets to put a statue in front of the New York Jets stadium and put the jersey on the fucking stadium. you know what I mean?
The things you do for your mum.
The things you do for your mum. So that's the drive, that's the passion for me. And again, it always comes back full circle. I want to put people in a position, you know, where they don't financially struggle, you know, because the financial struggle that my mother went through from 2008 to probably 2016 probably robbed me of my mum, in a sense of like, her mind was stressed, her mind was, you know, worried, her mind was anxious, her mind was, you know, thinking, how do I keep moving the wheel? Do you know what I mean? So you know this. When you have money, guess what you don't worry about?
Money, like things like that. Like it's so true because it gives you that breathing room where yes, there's stress, but it allows you to not have to deal with the smaller things where you're struggling with the money
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be stress, but the
Always.
fact is, money actually takes away so much fucking pressure.
It does. Yeah. Like I always said, people, like if your boiler breaks and you got money, guess what you're going to do? You're going to fix the fucking boiler. If your boiler breaks and you got no money, what you're trying to do is you're trying to patch the boiler. You figure out how I can just, you know, get over the next 3 months and then hopefully I'll have enough money to pay for the boiler. So you end up patching things up, yeah, which just adds more what to your life? Stress. When's the boiler going to break? When's this going to break? The car is fucking, you know, it's rattling. The wheels are rattling. It hasn't broke down yet. So let's just keep driving it. My Range Rover fucking kicks a tiny little bit of dirt in it. I'm like, nah, just go get it fixed. Pick it up, boys. Bring it back when it's done.
Look at it this way.
Do
So
you know what I
when
mean?
I was in Portugal, my mum's car actually got robbed.
There
I
you go.
was able to just give her my car and I can go out and get another one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so money won't solve all problems, but what it does, it solves money problems. And that's the key, because if you can solve money problems, then you can actually focus on whatever problem that is the problem. You know, you can focus on yourself. You can focus on whatever it is. 50 Cent said one thing one time where he grew up. I get inspiration from everybody. It's crazy. He said one thing growing up. He said, people where I lived didn't have mental problems. And the person that was doing the interview was like, what do you mean? He's like, we didn't have mental issues when I was growing up, because you still had to produce. You still had to wake up and feed your kids.
Yeah,
You still
I know
had
where
to
it's going.
fucking go to work. You still had to do everything. It didn't matter whether you were sad, whether you
couldn't
were angry,
afford.
you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So we were surviving. We didn't have enough time to fucking worry about our feelings, you know? And I always look at that as if to say, in my head, it's like, it don't matter what you feel. You just got to produce, and that's
Yeah.
it, you know? And that's what it needs to be, you know?
That's a heavy line, that, and it's so important.
Yeah,
as well.
I'll send it to you. It was like, fuck. When I saw that a couple of years ago, I was like, that's it. Because it's like, you don't have time, you know, and
Yeah.
you don't have, once the clock turns on, no one gives a fuck.
Do you know what's important about what you just mentioned there as well is when people come to calls and they say, "Oh, I don't want to be a millionaire." But it's like if you have the opportunity in a vehicle to actually become a millionaire, and you not wanting to pursue being a millionaire with the potential of it, like it's fucking selfish.
It is. It is. Because if you have the opportunity and you don't have the belief and the confidence and certainty in yourself to go, then what's the point of having the opportunity?
Because it's selfish in a way because you now have a vehicle where you can actually make X amount of money. Not only can you help yourself, but you have other people that you can actually provide for. So why the fuck wouldn't you want to be a millionaire?
Correct. Insecurity. That's it.
Because then they have to go out there and actually.
You have to go out there and you have to work and you have to do it and you have to actually produce. See, most people think that it takes a little bit of time and then you have. It's not. It's like you take a piece of rice every day and you put it over there, and that's how it works. That's the game. That's what it is, longevity. Anyone that you've ever, you know, looked at as an inspiration. So I have a big inspiration in my life. It's called Andy Frisella. Like endless. It shaped my life to where it's at today, you know. And you know, I listen to his story, and his story is like inches every day, inches. That's all he's done, and then it accumulates over time. You know, he's worth, his businesses are billions of dollars. You know, you should see his car collection. It's fucking stupid. His house is like the White House in St. Louis. It's fucking, it's mental. He has like, his first form location has like, I don't know, 5 or 6 warehouses. I'm talking Amazon size warehouses. It's fucking humongous. You know, that all started with one shop. That all started with him sleeping in the back of the shop. You know, you telling me a man that's been overweight his entire life can't fucking give you inspiration to go out there and change what you want to do. You know, so I look at all that, and I take a massive amount of inspiration and aspiration from all of it, you know. Last question, because I know we could stay here for 4 hours. Where are you going over the next 18 months? Why is it important to you? The next 18, 24 months, why do you want to do it? Where do you want to go and why do you want to do it?
I now have the capabilities and the resources to get out of sales and actually push for something further than what sales is. Because yes, sales is like a vehicle where it allows me to make something fast, but it will only keep me to a certain capacity. And there's obviously a level that I want to get to that will hold a standard of where I know that that is actually my potential, because you only get one shot at this planet, on life on this planet. So I want to make sure that when I get to the end of it, I've made the fucking most of it. So I'm obviously I've made certain investments on the table where I can learn new skills, have new opportunities. So the plan for me in the next 4 months is to completely out of sales and run my own online business in some capacity.
Awesome. What kind of business?
Anything in terms of like whether that be e-com, something very specific with e-com right now. There is another one that I'll keep off camera. But those two businesses are what I have in the back of my mind that keep me up every single night.
Awesome. Awesome. And the beauty of that, as I tell people all the time, like if you don't love sales and you're not in it for the long road, like I am, the thing that you should do is you should pour and you should get as many amount of skills that you could possibly can, make as much money as you possibly can, and redirect all of that free cash into a vehicle that you believe is going to be where you want to be. That's what it is. See, a lot of people end up doing this, Kurt, and you can tell me either if you've fallen for this trap or not. When people start making money, they start to uplift their lifestyle.
I, I have I done that? No, like I've not actually done that. Obviously, I've spent little bits of it
Yeah,
to enjoy the fruits of the
correct,
actual
which is
labor,
important.
but most of what I earn, I genuinely keep.
Good, that's important. Yeah, because you're out of that kind of like, I got to flex on these fucking retards. No, you don't. You just have to keep doing it because in 10 years' time, when you don't work and you're playing golf and they're busting their asshole, that's the flex. That's what I do. That's like, my home is a flex. Where I live is a flex. I don't need to tell people, I don't need to keep buying watches or cars or this, that, and the other stuff. I have all I need now to flex. I don't need to do it anymore. I've already proven it, and I live in a beautiful place in the world. Now, when people start making money, what they do is they start lifting up their expenses to meet that money. And that's when you see people, that are making 20 grand and then we drop, the investment of what it takes to get into family or into elite. And they're like, oh, I don't have any money. You're like, what are you talking about? You made like 20 grand last month. You made 30 grand last month. How the hell are you going to not have money? Because they're not budgeting and they're not planning and they're not executing on what the long-term vision is. They're just living month to month to month to month. I see it all the time with people in Miami and Brickell.
Do you know the problem with them people as well is I can imagine before the investment dropped, like that guy had a huge ego on the call because he was
Yeah.
making 20 grand a month.
Yeah.
Had this huge ego of what he was, but when reality hits, like all of a sudden,
Yeah. It's not about, I learned this very quickly once I started to make money. It's not about what you make, it's about what you
cheap.
keep. And that's the key. So, guys, this was our first time doing this. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, actually. This has been really good. I actually really like this concept. So we may keep doing it. I don't know, or we may not ever do it again. And it'll be a one of one. And that may be what it is, but I don't think so. But Kurt, you're a legend, buddy. I love being around you. I love speaking to you. I love, everything about you. The only shit that we didn't do is we didn't go train.
I know. I was absolutely heartbroken
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, we may have to do a part two. As I said to you, my door is always open. Anytime you want to come here, it's always open, buddy. It's a free for all around here, for the right people for sure. And I appreciate all of you guys. If you want to learn anything about what we do, we have a free community called the Objection Box Community. We have a free fucking school group. We give a tremendous amount of free content away, trainings, coaching, development, whatever it may be, because we want you to win. We want you to win like Kurt. We want you to win like all of the other people that we've coached, the thousands of people that we've got through the books. As I say, I want to go down in history. I want Kurt to go down in history. I want to fucking change lives. I want to change families. I want to change generations. And in order to do that, we need you to share. We need you to do your part. If you get value from what we do and what we give you, please do share. Please do move the message and everything else out there into other people. And we'll see you on the next one. Ciao. Bye bye.